Is there a formula to beat the Pistons? Starting with you, Tim.
Yes. A shotgun, a knife, anything to disband their team. No, actually, seriously though, yes, I think there is. For one, I mean, I think what is going to do, they're going to be the downfall of their own season. I mean, confidence is getting too high. Their general manager, Vern Hildreth, he seems to have his heart in the right place, but I mean, you get your guys pumped up too hard that like we can't lose, and you know, and that's how disasters begin. I mean, I think they're going to do it to themselves. There's no formula. They're going to do it to themselves.
TJ?
That's the whole formula in itself right there. He just spoke on was they will beat themselves. If you can get those guys talking to each other a little bit, arguing against each other, you know, bring up a couple points during the game or something, it might distract them on what their focus is. Also, I believe trying to slow the game down a little bit on them, not letting them run as much as they want to, that'll mess up their rhythm a little bit.
Now, it's interesting. The Nuggets play them this week, okay? And I seen you were up, you and your one player, J.R. Shipley, were up in the stands watching them play the Lakers. Did you get anything from that game that the Lakers did for really the 2 quarters that they were kind of hanging around in there?
Well, the Lakers, honestly, I mean, in the second half of that game, they outscored the Pistons by almost double. I mean, the Pistons had, I think it was 72 or 78 points at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, they finished with 129 or
128.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically all it is just honestly crashing the boards, boxing out, keeping people off the rebounds. The Pistons get their points, it's going to be off the offensive rebounds. Every one of them guys on the team, if you look at Keith Wynn, Charlie Campbell, Derek Green, they're all capable of getting 15, 20 rebounds a game apiece and beating you that way. But like I said, if you do slow the game down, take them out of their rhythm, that might affect them a little bit.
Now the rebounds, when you look at them statistically, okay, the rebounds that they do average, is it more off? Is it they're that good on the defensive boards, or there's no one crashing for the offensive boards?
No, it's not even that. It's not about crashing. It's lack of discipline on the opposing teams to actually put a body on somebody and box out a man.
Now, the press that they do run, okay, do you see any, how would you, if you were to give advice, how are you looking to attack it this week?
Their press,
Mm-hmm.
that's, we have a you know, hush, quiet, no comment on any strategy of the Nuggets towards the Pistons this week. We can talk about it the following week to tell you how my game plan worked out, just like we weren't allowed to speak on the Nuggets-Kings game of last week. I'm not going to tip my hand, show any cards just yet.
Well, I could comment on it. If you got enough guards to break their press, you can, because they like to press only when they up big. They don't press a lot during the the start of the game. When the game is tight, they don't press. And then if you press them on the other hand, they're gonna have problems too, because the main guy who handles the ball for them is Vern, and he's a decent enough point guard. But what Vern really is a shooter. So he's bringing it up. Just they got point guard by committee, and if you don't have Derek Green there, it's also a lot less work inside that they get, and they start working from the outside instead of inside, because he gobbles up a lot of rebounds, and once he gets the ball down there, ain't too many people going to stop him, because if you stop him on the weak side, you got Charlie Campbell and now the C.J. Lassen kid, and like you said, all of them could get a lot of rebounds, but if you press them, the tables be turned. So I look at it like that. If you press them and you got a lot of outside shooters, you can hang with them.
So you're saying their press, would you say their press is effective or non-effective?
Depends on the guards you have.
Yeah, it depends on the team. Against the Nuggets, it would be non-effective.
Okay, so it looks like it's effective because, yes, they're averaging a large margin of points. Okay, but how true are them points? Okay,
those points don't come off the press. Those points are there before the press.
That's a good point, because I haven't seen it used effectively against when it's a necessity. They have not used the press. They've used it when they were up big 20 points on somebody, and they're having fun. That's right.
And a true press, once you reach half court, that press doesn't drop down. If you can get that ball to half court on their press, it's over. You score automatically, because those guys do not chase you the rest of the way. It's basically they're giving you the idea of a full court press, but once you break it, those two guys go and wait for the long pass. That's it.
So do you think it's beneficial that if a solid team would be down and they start pressing, do you believe that that team could come back because of the press?
Yeah, the Lakers did it.
The Bucks, they never, you weren't there, Marcus, but they really didn't press a lot because they never had that lead above 15 against your team at all.
So I heard, I really don't know. I wasn't there. They ain't talked too much about it. Loss is a loss, win is a win. But the fact that we do got a few decent guys who can handle the ball, like I said, break the press, and you get to the middle of the floor, you can break the press against them. They're going to usually have a safety man down there, which is usually probably Derek Green or maybe Charlie Campbell, but not necessarily all the time, because if you break the press, they like to go the other way. As soon as they miss, they got that little, like, Showtime type thing, breakout points. If you watch what they do, a lot of breakout points. So you got good guards that can bring it down, and your whole team is coming down, they ain't going to press.
Just most importantly, if you have good guards, the other four guys, like what you experienced when you played them, you were the only one, and you had four other guys looking straight at your hoop. Well, three of them were right on you.
Yeah, well, the key to them is it's not just their rebounds, it's their offensive rebounds. If you can take away the offensive rebound, which I think if you play a little more man, and it's, when it's man on man, it's a little harder to rebound. With your man misses a shot, you're in position for the rebound. When you kind of got guys that have their height playing against, against some of the zones, they tend to miss a lot of, they take high percentage shots, all basically layups or dunks. They're right there. So, they're high percentage rebounds, all in the offensive glass. When they slash through the zone, you're in trouble. That's it. You play a little man, you stop some of that, that's how you beat them. It's the offensive glasses. Then on the other hand, to stop the transition, you have to start making shots.
Yeah.
No team has really, every team that has played them thus far has tried to play at their pace and has hurt their offense. You can slow it down to a half-court offense, things of that nature. Make your shots, make them take, because we know in the LCAA we have that rule where the ref has to touch the ball after a made basket. That means all the difference in getting your defense back down the floor against a much faster team in the Pistons.
Yeah.
So that means all
tough out with them anyway, period. It's just a tough out with them. But those is,
that's really it.
Valid points.
So what you're saying is that would you attack the basket or shoot jumpers on?
Well, no matter what you do, you have to take high percentage shots, whatever it may be. If you're a jump shooting team, shoot your shots, have confidence in it, slow it down, take the shots that are given to you. Teams tend to hurry their shots just for the fact, because of the pace, they're racing to beat the pace, thinking we got to outscore them, and you don't. You got to make them play your pace, make your shots,
get them out of rhythm.
The formula that the two close games that they've been in, to the Bucks and the Grizzlies, okay, the Grizzlies and Bucks both attack the baskets. Both. Even though the Grizzlies are a real good perimeter shooting team with Palermo, the Zets, the Dijon kid, and even DJ Caustic. They didn't rely solely on the jumper. Palermo continued to attack the basket. Is their Achilles heel if you attack them and don't let four guys stand around so they can all get their defensive rebounds?
Well, of course, if you have an effective slasher who can get that, and make the zone collapse a bit, because they do play quite a bit of zone. If you can get the zone to collapse on a slasher like a Palermo or somebody like that, somebody like a Chris Zetz, where you really have to come down, you have to crash on him. He kicks it out. They got to knock it all boils down to you got to knock your shots down, and you make it easy on yourself. The Pistons haven't been down a game that I can remember. They haven't had to play against adversity. None of them factors, which, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm anxious to see a team come out and with a quick 10-0 run and see what happens, where they go from there. Do they break out with the press when they're down 10-0 to start off a game? That tells you right there that the press isn't for real. That press is, it's a fun press, because you can press any team when you're up that far.
Yep.
They're going to die by that press if they get behind, and it's just not going to work, because when you press ineffectively, you give up easy buckets. And it's just gonna escalate from there.